Where did Halloween come from? From what did Halloween originate? Here are his answers.
John, I think it's very important for parents, especially Christian parents, to realize that Halloween is not a Christian holiday. In fact, its roots go back to ancient paganism and the Celtic and Druid beliefs that involved such things as divination, contact with spirits, and even something as horrible as human sacrifice.
Now, if you're not up on your history, you're probably wondering, who were the Celts and the Druids? Where did they live? Tell me a little bit more about them.
Okay, who were the Celts? The Celts were a group of people that came from Asia and migrated north to northern France and the British Isles. Their priestly class were known as the Druids, and they were the ones that regulated the religious observances and practices of the Celts.
Next, you may be asking, specifically, John, how does Halloween relate to the ancient pagan religious practices of the Celts? Well, Dr. Weldon explains, and I want you to listen very carefully.
Halloween relates to this ancient pagan religion in a variety of ways. For example, there were two key days celebrated in the Celtic religion. One of those days was the day in which the god of the dead, or the god of death, Samhain, actually was believed to release the souls of the good and evil spirits. And these good and evil spirits were released for a period of time to go back and mingle among the living. Today, the idea that Halloween involves good and evil spirits that are roaming about actually is traced back to this ancient Druidic belief.
Now, what else has come down to us from the past to make Halloween what it is today? I think if you understand what Dr. John Weldon says next, you will start to put some important pieces of the puzzle together. Listen.
What the Druids and Celtic peoples were involved in really was a form of spiritism, of contacting the spirits, of attempting to appease or placate the spirits so that the spirits would treat them in a good manner. Of course, biblically, this is something that God is very concerned about. For example, in Deuteronomy 18, verses 10 and 11, God says, "Let no one be found among you who sacrifices his son or daughter in the fire." That refers to human sacrifice, something that the Celts and the Druids themselves practiced. Who practices divination or sorcery, something else that was practiced. Interprets omens, engages in witchcraft or casts spells, or who is a medium or a spiritist, or who consults the dead. And of course, this is something that the ancient Celts practiced as well. In fact, some of them would actually fall upon the graves in an attempt to establish contact with the dead and to get divinatory or information about the future from the dead. Very clearly, we see that God condemns the practice that the ancient Druids and the Celts engaged in of contacting the spirit world and attempting to contact the dead.